Hey, what's, oh.
Where should I put my hand? Like, I don't know what to do with my hands.
What do I do with my hands?
Like this? Does this look okay?
Hey, what's up? I'm Myles.
And I'm Shirin.
And we're the host of Above the Noise, the show that cuts through the hype
And digs into the science behind the headlines.
And we're here at KQED to talk about last week's episode on social status and how it can affect your health.
So to recap, the show is all about how perceived social status, or how you think you stack up compared to other people, can actually impact your physical health. Researchers have long known that social class is one of the most powerful predictors of health, more powerful than genes, smoking, or how much alcohol you drink. But there's another component to social class that often doesn't get as much attention: how you feel you compare to other people, or your subjective social status.
So right off the bat, we have a comment from Sia, who says, when I was in middle school, I didn't have a lot of friends because people were mean to me and I didn't feel happy as much. But when I got to high school and started looking better and got many followers and viewers on Instagram, I started feeling better about myself and my self-esteem went up also.
I thought Sia touched on something that is a really critical link, which is that a lot of us measure our social status, our perceived social status, based on social media. Like, how many likes are we getting on Instagram?
How many followers, all that, yeah.
Right, and definitely for me, like when I was in school, I didn't really fit into the social ladder very well, but online I had a community of people who were a lot more like me, like who were into kind of artsy stuff. They weren't the stereotypical like jocks or cheerleaders, but into like obscure things like, I don't know, Italian cinema or whatever I was into. And social media became a place where like that really boosted my self-esteem, to have a community of people going like thumbs up.
Oh yeah, it's very like, you know, because school can be like tougher than the internet a lot of times, I feel like, especially when it comes to like, you know, finding that community and those people that you can reach out to. When you hit high school, you kind of see how that can differ when you see kids that like have lunch and can afford like the expensive lunch, or like bring lunch from home, or don't have lunch at all, and how that can really just affect, you know, how they're perceived and how they view themselves in comparison to other students.
So I think it's really crazy that all these thoughts that we're having, comparing ourselves to other people, actually gets into our bodies, like affects our cells, affects our health in a measurable way.
I mean, and in the same vein, you have Orion Awesome Clips, who says, yeah, I've seen some of my friends obsessed with social status. Like, my friends would always talk about being a lower social status when they were obviously not, making them more depressed most of the time. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, it's two sides of the coin, right? Like, you can get a lot of likes, and you can also be sitting there thinking your life sucks just because you gotta, I don't know.
Because you see your friend like traveling the world, or you
yeah,
know, or because they get like 100 likes on a picture and you only get like 30. You know what I mean? I feel like that sometimes. Like, I can't break past that 99 barrier, and it can, you know, it can get to you. So I mean, I feel it 100%, but.
When I don't get enough likes for the count to go from like on Instagram, you know, and just like lists out all the names of your friends, but doesn't even get to like a numerical digit. Yeah, that's some of my posts, okay? It's
no, I know exactly.
Even though I think I'm too cool for it now, I'm really mature, I secretly care when I'm below the numerical limit.
Because sometimes you have to like, you're constantly like refreshing and refreshing and refreshing, and I feel like that affects my mood. That's what hits me. It's like I'm the person that'll like refresh it a couple of times and be like, dang, maybe this picture wasn't that cool. Is it not clear enough? Was it blurry? You know, so, but anyway. Another comment that was really interesting to me was from Raquel Ramirez. Why should we be focusing on subjective social status when actual social inequality is the undeniable cause for said health issues between classes?
So I think Raquel brings up a really good point, and honestly, when we first started covering this, I kind of thought the same thing as her. I was like, yeah, why aren't we focusing on actual economic, social inequality, because that's the clear cause of a lot of health problems. And honestly, we could probably do like 10, 15, 20 videos just about that, right? There's actually a really good study we didn't get to that shows it when you're a kid, if you face socioeconomic disadvantages, that's gonna stay with you your whole life, regardless of if you improve your socioeconomic status later on. So definitely Raquel brings up some really good points. However, when we were digging deeper into the research, I realized that perceived social status, or subjective social status, also really matters. And actually, someone, Gordito 2017, in the comments brought this up.
Today I read a Scientific American article about how being poor changes brain development. Objective social status matters as well as subjective social status. That monkey example was amazing.
Moving a monkey from the top of the ladder down to the bottom actually decreased the level of disease-fighting cells. Scientists didn't change anything about these monkeys' access to monkey shelter or monkey food. All they did was move where the monkeys were in their social ladder, and all of a sudden you saw differences in the monkey's health, right?
Basically. I mean,
So-
I'm trying to, because this is a lot of information for me. So basically we're saying that they kind of work in hand, they work together. So it's not just subjective, it's not just objective. It's a lot of information to take in. Like, this was a real like dense topic. And it has me really like agreeing with Jillian over here, who says, very interesting. If wealth was distributed equally, would the health of Americans improve?
Just envision yourself at the top and everything will become better. No, just kidding. That's not the point.
Just
But
feel rich, you'll look rich, and then you'll live longer. Because that's basically what we're saying. That's the summary of it all.
no, but in all seriousness, Jillian brought up a really good question. I think, yeah, like you're saying, there's no one clear answer. Like, if you distributed wealth equally, though, would everyone have even enough, you know?
Yeah. Sounds like a question for Bernie Sanders. So I wish I could help. If you like that episode, you should come back next week where we tackle medical marijuana, the benefits of it, and why it's so hard to do research on it. And on that, we'll cut through the hype.
And take you above the noise.
Till next time.